why would you pitch to Judge? And I genuinely wonder the same thing. Why did teams pitch to him? Right. What's the point? Like, honest, and I mean that as a genuine question. What is the point in pitching to him? Because who's behind him in the lineup? Who's gonna get a big hit?
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. With me as usual, well, is it usual? He hasn't been here for a while. With me, once again, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, you finally made it home from Texas.
Stacey, the airline crisis got me. I was one of the victims.
My goodness. And I jinxed you, didn't I? I jinxed you.
Oh, yeah.
I did. I'm so sorry. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when those videos go up. Coming up on today's show, previewing the finale of the Rays series, we're going to look at just how bad the Yankees are in OPS compared to the rest of the league. But first, let's talk about Sunday's loss to the Rays.
Well, it was another lackluster performance, right? Another lack of effort, it felt like lack of motivation. I guess lazy Sunday afternoon was the way they felt, and that's how the way they went out and performed, because couldn't score, no offense at all. You waited on basically Judge and Soto to do everything for you, like they do in most of the games, and then it all repeated like it normally does.
Right.
This was a very typical 2024 New York Yankees game. Just was.
Yes, it was. It's just the team is taking on Aaron Boone's personality, and I don't like it at all. Because after the loss on Saturday, Nestor was saying things like, we're right there with everyone else, even though we're struggling. It's like, could you imagine? And I don't want to be this person, but could you imagine Derek Jeter saying something like that?
No, you never.
No,
could.
You could not.
It's the whole team. And the fact that this manager still has a job day after day after day after day, it still manages to just, I don't know, befuddle me, I guess is the word I want to use, because it makes no sense. They keep losing games like this where, it took a monumental Judge home run to make it a game. And then that Soto ball in the gap. Other than that, what did they do on offense?
Right. They left a small village on base is what they did on offense.
Kane O'Neill made this point multiple times throughout the game. Why would you pitch to Judge? And I genuinely wonder the same thing. Why did teams pitch to him? Right. What's the point? Like, honest, and I mean that as a genuine question. What is the point in pitching to him? Because who's behind him in the lineup? Who's gonna get a big hit?
No one.
And now you're trying Austin Wells batting fourth. He can't hit. He took a pitch down the middle for strike 3 to end the game, which every little leaguer knows not to do. Glaber is a nothing. Verdugo is a nothing. Every player in this lineup is a nothing, and they keep repeating it. You'll see later on in the second segment in the OPS stats. You guys, I don't think you'll be necessarily surprised, but you'll shake your head too at how bad their OPS is compared to the rest of the league, because it's literally that bad. I don't know what else to say. Again, because this game didn't feel any different to me. There's no grandiose statement for me or you to come on the show today and give any of the fans of the show to say. There's no pound of flesh to go get. We've done this same show now. It feels like 100 times this year. It's a lackluster, lazy performance where you get a decent pitching performance and Judge hits a 3-run homer and they lose the game 5-3 or 6-4 or 6-5 or whatever.
6-4.
It does, you know what I mean? It's the same. They've played this same game 100 times this year. I don't know why anyone would. And here's the thing too. They're putting 40,000 fans in the crowd every single night.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you go?
Right.
Why? I don't know how there's fans still going to these games, because why would you go?
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's a team, and it's so funny to me because if you look back at our shows in May where we debated what they were going to need in the trade deadline, we were like, maybe a reliever. Now, there's 5 or 6 positions they need upgraded.
This is what they need. They need a left fielder. They need a second baseman. They need a third baseman. They need at least 2 relievers and possibly a starter if Schmidt can't come back soon enough. It's like, and here's the thing, guys.
You're not finding that.
Monday's game to prevent a 3 out of 4 loss. Guess who's starting that game? Carlos Rodon. We'll preview it in segment 3, but that doesn't give you any confidence in the fact that, oh, okay, cool. Maybe the Yankees can get a split. Oh, because, or even better, you know what'll happen? He will pitch well, but the offense will do what they did on Sunday and Saturday and not do anything. Sunday was just ridiculous. They left literally a small village on base. The DPs, the
first 2 innings.
Leaving the bases loaded twice. Like, what on earth is happening?
They had a chance to put the game away in the first 2 innings.
Yeah.
And they just refused to. Because not like the Rays were killing the ball, were hitting the cover with the ball either. And they really had a chance to do that. And I'm sorry, too. Like, I know he's had a decent year, and he really has. Stroman's performance wasn't anything special today either. It wasn't. He held the runner low, but I mean, even the home run balls he gave up. Like, I'm sorry, top of the first right there when your team failed to score yesterday, you can't give up that solo home run. You can't. And you come out and and then the next home run. I mean, can you serve a ball on a platter any better than that? I mean, it's right down the middle of the plate. Like, you know, I get it. You're trying different things, and he's had a decent year. He's been probably the Yankees' most consistent starter this year. But that ball was right down the gut. I mean, it's hard to keep making excuses. And again, we haven't heard behind the curtain. We're coming on right after the game ended. What is Aaron Boone going to say? We know what he's going to say, right? I mean, I haven't heard the press conference yet. I'm sure I'll hear it after the show. We know
right there. It's right there.
Right there. You know, good at bats. They had good at bats today. That's what he's going to say. The same crap that he says after every game. So, I mean, I don't know how you can expect anything different at this point if you're a Yankee fan.
No,
I don't.
No. And the other thing, in the last 2 games, the Rays, who don't usually hit home runs, or at least haven't been hitting home runs in 2024, 4 home runs on Saturday, 4 home runs on Sunday. Because they take advantage of the mistakes that Yankee pitchers are throwing to them. The Yankees can't take advantage of mistakes that the Rays pitchers are throwing to them, unless their name is Judge and Soto.
It's embarrassing. I mean, it's gotten so bad offensively to a team that was playing so unbelievably well. I mean, they're going to be a 500 team before you know it. And they're still like 15 games over. But they're going to fall to 500 before you know it. They are. Like, it's gotten that bad.
Let's see. Because I was looking at this just to make sure. I was looking at the score because I was here getting ready. Okay, so they're 59-42 right now, right? Do you remember when they were 50-22?
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad they've been. You would have thought when they were doing that well, that they would have reached 60 wins before 30 losses. Yeah. And now at this rate, they're going to hit 50 losses definitely before they hit 70 wins.
Yeah. Yep.
Unbelievable.
It's embarrassingly bad. And it's been a while since I've seen a team turn like this. I mean, this is worse than the last couple of years. This is a unbelievable. And again, this happens every single year. That's why I don't understand how the manager has a job.
Right. And
how you could allow this to happen under your tutelage every single year makes no sense. And how management can keep you in position is even crazier. That, like, Boone allowing this to happen is one thing, but how it continues to happen and front office doing nothing about it is the craziest thing ever.
Yeah. By the way, let's put this up for a sec. Oh, and adding to the Aaron Boone stuff, he was ejected for the 5th time this season, and it did nothing.
No spark.
It did nothing to motivate this team at all. You know, not that it ever really helps, but here's the thing. You know, people say, you know, the offense needs to do better, the pitching needs to be better, but the manager needs to motivate this team. He's not motivating them. Like we said, they're starting to sound like him in their post-game comments where he's like, oh, it's right around the corner. We see it right in front of us. It's there for us to take. What's there for you to take? What are you doing? Again, you're 59-42. You were 50-22 at one point.
Yep.
When is it going to start? Again, I said this last week. You can't flip a switch and suddenly think you're going to do better. Something needs to happen.
the inability to call any players out, the inability to address guys not playing well. I mean, you have more than half the roster underperforming.
Yeah.
And he won't call a single guy out.
Right.
Again, I'm not, and neither of us are asking you to go back to Billy Martin, where you
No.
go out in the press and you destroy someone. No one's asking for that. But, I mean, call the guys on the carpet a little bit. Verdugo has one hit in his last, 60 at-bats. Call someone out on the carpet for something. He's not doing any of that.
No.
Any of that. Instead, they're acting like they're World Series contenders.
Right.
It has gotten so unbelievably bad. It really has.
We're going to show you all how unbelievably bad it is in the second segment. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you would like your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us reactions. A lot of funny reactions this weekend. I'm so sorry, you guys, that you had to sit through this. But then again, as I always say, we have to sit through it because of our job.
Mm-hmm.
You could take a break from it. There's a 14-day free trial. It's usually fun. Coming up next, just how bad are the Yankees' OPSs? Find out next.
PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. And with the NBA season over and Olympic basketball getting rolling, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. Women's basketball is still heating up, and with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves, alongside greats like Brianna Stewart and Aja Wilson, you can make up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by eBay Motors. Locked On Yankees is sponsored by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only. Available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, the Yankees OPSs, I don't know if you guys have taken notice of this. I saw something online today and it had to be addressed because their OPSs have been so monumentally awful this year. It's not even up for debate anymore. Let's just put out there for reference to start. The league average in OPS this year is 706, which is down from normal. Usually it's around 800, which is the average. 706 is the league average, which is down from normal. But let's look at the rest of the Yankee lineup. Ben Rice is at 804. Ben Rice hasn't played a lot, so it's easy for his OPS to stay out. Now, he's played well. Average is very low, but he's played well. I like what he's brought to the team, but his OPS is 804. Judge and Soto obviously are going to have high OPSs, as you guys can assume. Judge 1.109, which is absurd. And Soto's at a clean 1,000. Now we get to the rest of the team. And Yankee fans, you might want to hold on to something that makes you feel comfortable, all right? Grab your snuggle blankie right now that makes you feel at home because it's going to be scary. Wells, 693. Gleyber Torres, 654. Verdugo, 661. Anthony Volpe, 670. Keep in mind, again, average 706. Trent Grisham, 6'6", and the granddaddy of them all, DJ LeMahieu, 482.
Now, let's explain, because some people still might not know what OPS is. That's on base plus slugging. So that's your on base percentage plus your slugging.
Yeah, it's a term that a lot of people use also to reference as overall player statistic, which really kind of does encompass how good of an all-around hitter you are. It really, because it's giving your on-base percentage plus how much damage you're doing out there. It really is a beneficial stat to use when you're analyzing a player. And trust me, a lot of front offices use OPS. A very large percentage of them use OPS to determine how good players are. There's a lot of players in the league, like Ben Rice, who have a low batting average but have an 800 OPS that teams will play every single day. And it's why Ben Rice is playing every single day. Because I'm sure a lot of you are looking at his numbers when he comes up and saying, oh my God, he's hitting 210. Why is he still in the lineup every day? This is why. Because his OPS is over 800. So he's 100 points over an average MLB player, which is what you want. The rest of the team, though, is atrocious. Is so unbelievably bad. Again, this is 706 is the average player in baseball. Not a good player, not a great player. It's an average player in baseball. And this team, they're all playing below average. Every single last one of them. Stacey, I mean, look at Verdugo's numbers, and he's the one that's the real catalyst because he's been really good the all season pretty much. I've loved the way that he played at the start of the year. I love the way that he came in with this team. His fielding was really good. And, I mean, look at it turn around. These are his numbers since June 15th, Stacey. 148 in batting average. That's last in MLB. On base is 207. That's last. His slugging is 213, which is last place. And his OPS is 420, which is last. That's with a minimum of 90 plate appearances. So you've gotten a good sample size of how bad Verdugo's actually been.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. And here's the scary part. They have no one to play instead of Verdugo. They can't sit him. There's no one to take his spot. So I don't know where they're going to go from here. I don't know what magical left fielder they're going to go acquire, but they feel like they're stuck between a rock and a really, really, really hard place.
And he was supposed to be the solution at left, and it looked like he was in the beginning of the season. And, you know, his girlfriend has a baby and everything starts falling apart. I'm not blaming the baby. I'm just kidding. He is batting my ideal weight right now, 148. That is absolutely, since June 15th, that is absolutely horrifyingly terrible. Just awful. Also, his on-base percentage is my all-time highest weight of 207. So good job, Verdugo. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, and again, coming into the year, it's really been, I know you're saying the baby. To me, the mark is that big Red Sox home run. He hits the home run of the Red Sox. He starts talking smack. He runs around the bases really slowly to try and show up the Fenway crowd. And since that big game, it feels like it's fallen apart for the Yankees since then, because that was right after the Royals series where they went into Kansas City and beat the Royals after they faced the Royals' best pitchers. But going into Boston, he hits that big home run in game one. And then all of a sudden, it just felt like the whole world collapsed on the Yankees. Yeah. And really on him, too. He has been atrocious since then. And there's no way of defending it. And we're being much harsher. This is the bad part. We're being much harsher than his manager ever would be.
Right.
And it's not like you need these numbers to know that a guy's been playing terrible. You don't. Right. He's been that bad. There's no excuses. There's no defending it. There's nothing we could say.
Yeah. And the bad thing is, if Jason Dominguez wasn't hurt, we wouldn't be having this conversation about Verdugo.
No, we might still be having it. Because guess what? Your buddy Trent Grisham, who's out there sporting a 6.63 OPS, he'd be playing every day, which he normally is now anyway. So one of them would be playing. It'd be Verdugo or Trent Grisham. So who knows? That's the thing. It's not like, Verdugo could be sitting and Dominguez would be in and everything would be okay. No, you'd still have to have Grisham somewhere in the middle.
Not that everything would be okay. We just wouldn't be having the same conversation about Verdugo. It's just funny because
I don't know if it's even worth going out there and acquiring other major talent because there's so much to fix.
Right. We mentioned it. There's so many things now. They completely fell apart in the last month and week. It's unbelievable how they did a complete 180.
And it goes back to a lot to what we were saying to right as the All-Star break hit. That last game, you look at it as one game, right? And it doesn't feel like it's a big deal. And Boone gives you you'd like to win that one, but you're going to lose games like that. Sure. that game
No,
winds up being,
only the Yankees lose games like that.
but that game winds up being so much more important than you actually realized because of this right here. Because you lose that game, and what if you win that game and go into the break with a lot of confidence? Maybe you come out and you score some more runs in the last 2 games, but instead you start the break off the exact same way that you ended it, on a poor note. The exact same way.
Well, all right, let's wait. They started on a good note Friday night, and you're thinking,
it was
okay.
one game.
No, I'm just saying that they ended the break on a bad note, and you're like, okay, hopefully this doesn't carry over into Friday. They win that first game Friday the way they do, and you're thinking, okay, this is a good start. Maybe they can build on this. And then the next 2 games happen, and they don't build on anything. And this is the problem since the middle of June. They can't string together wins. Yeah. They can string together losses, but they can't string together wins.
So bad teams do.
Yep. All right, coming up next, let's preview that finale with the Rays, started by Carlos Rodon.
I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down and we get fewer games and the sports aren't quite sporting like I want them to, FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up any bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everybody every day, all summer long. And this summer, you get the Olympics. So you can go bet U.S. soccer, U.S. tennis, anything you want. How about U.S. to win the most gold medals? That's a popular one that's out there. You can find any U.S. Olympic bet you want on FanDuel. So head over to FanDuel.com/locked-on and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, it's the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows that are covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now, available on the free Fire TV channels app. And remember that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. You just got to download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, quickly before we get into the last game of the series, I want to wish Sabathia a happy 44th birthday today. 251 career wins, 3,093 career strikeouts, 6-time All-Star, 2007 Cy Young winner, 2009 World Series champion. Hall of Famer?
Maybe. I mean, I think maybe eventually. Maybe not the first ballot, but I think like it'll be one of those things where it builds up and they'll be like, oh yeah, we should let him in, kind of a thing. Maybe. To be clear, the birthday's Sunday, not Monday. The show goes up on Monday.
Oh, the episode comes out on Monday. I apologize.
But I mean, happy birthday to CeCe. He had some legendary birthday parties when he was with the Yankees. We read stories about them in books and saw pictures from them once they all started posting on social media. My favorite one was 2015. They were in his backyard. He had a barbecue, and there was a bunch of Yankees posing in a picture, and then A-Rod was on one knee with a cigar hanging out of his mouth in front of the group, and it's just one of my favorite pictures of all time. It's so funny.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's in the top 5 all time for left-handed strikeouts. I think he's definitely a Hall of Fame pitcher. And I love too, when I'm talking about CeCe, the revitalization he had of his career, because he was completely falling apart when he had the alcoholism problem. And it felt like his career was falling apart, and he turned it around. He came back, developed that cutter, really became an effective pitcher for them at the end of his career. And he left it all out on the line that last year too in the postseason. I love what CeCe Sabathia gave to the Yankees. I hope if he does go in, he goes in with a Yankee cap on. I can't imagine he wouldn't. But I think he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. I really do.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy Pettit, for being friends with CeCe Sabathia.
Oh, yeah.
I hope other guys start to develop cutters like that. Other, lefties.
So, Stacey, something that's weird in the universe doesn't feel right. A series finale on a Monday. I don't like the way that feels. It just feels strange. It feels like a Monday should start things. Yeah,
they don't happen often. I've seen it with other teams where they have the wraparound Friday to Monday 4-game series. And when it happens for the Yankees, I'm like, because 2009 walk-off weekend against the Twins was a Friday to Monday because Friday they walked off, Saturday they walked off, Sunday they walked off. I had given my Sunday tickets away to a friend. And then I went with a friend on Monday night. It wasn't a walk-off, but they ended up sweeping the 4-game series. And it was even being there with my friend, I was like, it's really weird being here. And it was a Monday night game too, which was even weirder. It was like, this doesn't feel right. This should either be an off day or they should be playing a different team. What is happening right now? So it's rare that they get these. And I'm kind of surprised it's a 105 start, but then again, I'm not because it's summer. So
yeah. Well, it should be a packed camp day, I'm assuming, right? It should be a big camp day at the stadium.
Those poor kids.
They've got a stretch right now of like 17 straight games at over 40,000. I don't know how that's happened. But
I know, with as bad as they've been playing, why are people going and torturing themselves? And it's been hot and it's humid. Yeah. Like, who wants to sit in that?
I wonder if they'll keep that streak up at this game. 105 on a Monday is a tough spot to get 40,000 people to show up. It really is. Especially on Monday. It's not even those Thursday 1 o'clock games you can make a little more of an excuse for because like Thursday, it's the end of the week. Some people will take off Thursday, Friday, make it a long weekend for themselves, but no one's going on a Monday. Like it's not, Monday's not a going out day. It's not a drinking day. It's none of those things. So I can't imagine they're going to have a packed house. They get Zach Little, who's 3-6 with a 4.26 ERA, which is the Yankees' kryptonite. He'll go against Carlos Rodon, who's 9-7 with a 4.63. It really is crazy to read those numbers for Rodon after how good he looked at the start of the year.
Wasn't he? What was he? 9-3?
9-2.
I think he was 9-2. Yeah.
His ERA was in the twos.
Right. And my prediction for the 17 wins was looking really good. And he's just completely like his last start wasn't horrible, as we said, but it wasn't great either. No. It was, he didn't last long enough. He threw too many pitches in 4 innings. Yeah. His command was all over the place. And, you look at some of the numbers, you think, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks. Okay, it could be better. At least the strikeouts are up, but everything else about that start was horrible. So, I am not confident going into this game at all.
No.
Between Littell's 4.26, like you said, the Yankees kryptonite right in the wheelhouse, and Rodon just not being able to figure out how to pitch again.
No, and it gets worse too, because right after this you get the Mets to come in, who are playing well, including, I don't know if they're going to get Severino, but after those comments that were made.
No, Severino pitched the other day, didn't he?
Yeah, but they were going back and forth, and it was friendly banter, but still, this is a Mets team that's playing a lot better and can string runs together, which is a thing that the Yankees can't seem to figure out how to do. So that's not going to be an easy start for them either. They're not going into a stretch right now. It gets a lot easier in August, but they got to get through the end of July, and they could easily finish this month off playing a lot worse.
Oh yeah, because after the Mets, they have the Red Sox in Fenway, so
they can't beat.
Right. It's going to be, it's right in front of them. It's right in front of them. What's in front of them? Who knows? But it's right in front of them.
Not wins. That's for sure.
An absolute nightmare is in front of them. One more time. You can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos. There's a 14-day free trial. You get texts from us. You can text us questions, reactions to the games, have conversations. It's fun. You can also leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday under our pinned comment. We do it every week. It's a lot of fun. We answer your questions, and most of them. Sometimes
I'll be here this week.
Yeah, sometimes what we'll do is sometimes there are multiple questions that are basically the same, and I just choose randomly. So don't get insulted if you asked a question and you're like, "Why didn't you read it?" That's sometimes happen. That happens sometimes. If you join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, you get top priority, and you're in segment 1, sometimes segment 2, depending on how many questions are asked. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this really fun edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you tomorrow.